Warford updates with Mr. Warford updates with Mr. Warford updates with Mr. Warford.
What's up? Welcome to Updates with Mr. Warford. So this is the last week of the Age of Exploration unit for my world history students. We're going to look at the consequences of the Age of Exploration. So if you remember Columbus, okay, he was the guy that sailed for Spain, representing Spain, thought that he discovered a westward route to Asia in 1492. And some historians believe that he went to his grave thinking that he found Asia. Spoiler alert, he didn't find Asia. He found an entirely other continent, or discovered it, because people were already living there. He had actually discovered this new world that Europeans would explore and colonize for the next 200 years. So because of the movement of Columbus to North America, you can see his route here into what's now known as the Caribbean, on a couple of different voyages that he took. Because of his voyage there, something happened called the Columbian Exchange. Okay, the Columbian Exchange was the exchange of goods between Europe and the Americas, between the native peoples of North America and people of Europe as they came over to this new world. And there were also many cases of goods just being taken by force. So while the name of it historically is the exchange, sometimes things were not exchanged, they were just taken from people. This included plants, animals, and disease, okay? So disease was also a part of the Columbian Exchange. So from the old world to the new world, so from Europe to the Americas, what do we see cross over the Atlantic and into this new world? Europeans brought horses, which is going to transform transportation in North America, sheep, goats, pigs, chickens. Some crops they brought were rice, wheat, barley, citrus fruits, oats, and different types of melons. And disease, this was a huge one. They brought diseases like smallpox, measles, the flu, chickenpox, typhus. So all of these diseases came over that the native people of North America had no antibodies to prevent them from getting them, and it wiped out, decimated giant parts of the population. From the new to the old, we see not a lot of animals made it over to Europe that would continue to flourish there. The only one that we really know of is turkeys. Like, people brought llamas and guinea pigs, but they didn't really catch on too much in Europe. But turkeys obviously are still in Europe. Some crops that went from the New World to the Old World, so North America to Europe, would be corn, potatoes, tobacco, peanuts, peppers, tomatoes, pumpkins, pineapples, vanilla, what's called cacao, which is what you make chocolate with. So a lot of cash crops are going to make their way from North America as well as South America into Europe, which is going to provide Europeans with a lot of wealth through selling and trading of these cash crops. And then diseases, not a ton of diseases make it from the New World to the Old, except for a sexually transmitted disease called syphilis. So what were the results of the Columbian Exchange? So new crops and animals are introduced in the Americas and Europe, and it transformed the daily lives of the people. So for an example, horses gave Native Americans new transportation methods, and then, as we discussed previously, all kinds of new crops, foods, raw materials, gold, silver were taken from the New World to the Old. European countries start to desire more of these things because it makes them money and it makes their lives better. So we start to see an increase in colonization. They want to access these goods. And that goes back to our vocab term of mercantilism or mercantilism, however you pronounce it. And that continues, this economic system of the more wealth you have, the more powerful you are, that continues after the Age of Exploration. The availability of crops like corn and potatoes cause population growth in places like Europe because they're a more stable food source for people. And we see huge losses to indigenous peoples because of disease. And we're going to read more about that today. But it's believed by historians that have done various studies that between 1492, when Columbus came to the New World, to 1600, 90% of indigenous populations in the Americas died. That's about 55 million people. And to put that into perspective, around 2020, which is when I made this video, that's more than the total population of the state of California just died from disease that they had no immunity to. So that is one of the major results of the Columbian Exchange. So what we're going to be doing is starting an assignment that's called Consequences of Exploration. So today, as well as one other day this week, you're going to be reading a little more about the Columbian Exchange because we have not hit, this isn't an exhaustive study of it. This video is not by any means. So we're going to go on a little more of a deep dive. We're going to read about the Columbian Exchange and the negative effects that it had on Native Americans. We're going to read some quotes from some primary sources, learn a little background about the terrible things that happened to native populations because of European exploration. The goal is to get numbers 1 through 7 of this assignment, the questions 1 through 7, completed by Thursday. If you want to work ahead to Part B, that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that, but the goal is to, by Thursday, get numbers 1 through 7 completed. So we're going to keep learning about the Columbian Exchange, its positives, and especially its negatives. Have a great day. See you.